Hello, and I am just about to create for you a bit of artwork on this stone, this art stone I've done. If you see my other videos that I had. Right, so this is with Shuttle Art acrylic paint in white. Comes in 2 fluid ounces, US fluid ounces, which is 60 mils, and 99% of mine are that. Right, so this is a mould from Happy Dotting Company. I have painted it in black. I used black gesso. It smooths out any lumps and bumps, which is nice. But then my resin didn't. As you can see, I have a rippling effect, which you will get if you have touched it with your fingers. So I won't be doing that. I will be wiping it off. Once it's all dry, I'll be wiping it off before I coat it in resin. Okay, one thing about resin is it does leave a rim, so I've had to file that down. Okay. Right, so today I'm going to be using, to start off with, I will be using these, which are wood crochet hooks, and they all have their measurements on. Okay, so I'm going to go for a fairly large one to start off with, the 9mm for the central dot. And if I squish into the paint just enough to get on the end and form a dot, if you tip it up that way, you will see whether it's going to form a dome or not. And I'm just going to put it down on the central dot, which is marked there. Right. Very, very slightly skew whiff. But to be honest, it will be skew whiff at different points quite easily. Being human, I am not perfect by any means. Right, okay, I have finished with that size, so I'm just going to remove the paint and put it on my kitchen towel. Right, I'm not planning on using that one, so I'm going to put that in my pot. A jar or something like that will work. Excuse me, I need to have a drink. I can't speak. Thank you for putting up with me. Anyway, I have this tool here, and I am literally just going to put a dot in. I'm going to put a dot at 12 o'clock, a dot at 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and if I spin it, it will be easy for me to do 3 o'clock again. All right. Now, if you break it down into halves each time, you should end up with it well balanced. You won't have needed to do any measuring, and you can see whether you're going to fit in any more dots or not. I am not one of these people who has a plan at the beginning as to what it's going to look like. I might have some ideas on colours. Did something yesterday, decided it was going to be in a multitude of blues and ended up in 3 blues. But that's now drying. This, now look, that's got bigger because I've still got the paint on there. I'm talking instead of paying attention. It's only fractionally bigger, so I'm actually going to allow it. What I was going to say is acrylic paint takes a while to set. It doesn't take a while to dry. This will be dry the same day, depending on the warmth of the room I'm doing it in. You can see one that's a little bit smaller than the others. So I'm going to add a little to that one, or maybe to the one next to it. Right, I'm happy with that. Okay, what was I saying? Yes, it will dry. If it's a warmer room, obviously it will dry more quickly. If it's a colder room, then more slowly, but it will dry. However, if you go and complete this and then leave it for a short amount of time, say a day or two, and then you put it with others so that they're touching, you will find that they will pull each other's paint off. Please give them a few weeks to really set, to be safe. And then if you are going to put them together, then have something between them. Either a bit of kitchen paper, or even better would be tissue paper. All right, I'm going to be coating this in resin, but even to do the resin, I need to leave this for a minimum of a week. I try and leave it a lot longer than that, but I'm quite impatient, but I have got away with that most of the time. Okay, right, this is my little pot of sticks, and I will be going through them to decide which size I'm going to use next. If I hold it up there, I can have an idea of whether, if I do a dot there that size, it's going to touch that one or not. If I count them as I've gone across each time and in between each time, it's going to be an even number. So what I could do is I could do every alternate dot. Would you like? I'll have to make a decision, because it's no good me asking you, because you can't answer me. Right, so that's dot, that dot. Keeping an eye on your tool to make sure it's not gathering too much paint. And I'm going to wipe it. Right, that's not good enough on it. A little bit more. There we go. If you've not done this before, there is one trick you could try, and that is to do this in water using the tools to try out patterns. Then once you're happy with doing that, for instance, getting the dots the same size all the way around is a good thing to practice. Then move on to practicing on paper. Let me see. Should have something here. No, that one's got lines on it ready for me to do it. That one's got a plan for me to do. I did that one on a big picture. No, I can't see any to hand at the moment. And of course you're wanting me to move on. Right, so that was using this end. I could also use that end, and I can also go to another tool. Right, what am I going to do? I don't want anything too small. That one is a little bit bigger. Let's try bigger then. Right, I'm going to put a lot of paint on this one. Right, can you see the difference? Just the difference on the end of the tool can make all the difference in the world. Maybe it's a bit subtle. If you make a mistake, and we all do it from time to time, so there's no need to beat yourself up about it, but if you do a mistake and you really don't like what you've done, you can wipe it off. If you can get Q-tips with a pointed end, that's brilliant. Or you can use a toothpick, a wooden toothpick, and just put some cotton wool around the end and put some water on it to clean up afterwards. But whilst it's just dry cotton wool, do watch out for the hairs on it. So just suddenly thought of that. If it's dry cotton wool, it will lift it off. If it's dry cotton wool with hairs, you run the risk of finding that the hairs will drag the paint. Right, I should have picked out a larger tool. That's what I'm thinking now, because it's so subtle. Right, okay. If I didn't like that, I could wipe the whole thing and start again. I have also got, where's my other tool? I've got a different tool I've recently got. Right. This is a flat chisel, firm, colour shaper, Royal Sovereign Limited UK. And as you can see, it's got a silicone tip chisel. So I'm going to put one on there. I really don't like changing what I've already done. I find that really difficult. Possibly because I'm on the autism spectrum. That might just be it. But if you have something like this and you don't want it there, then you can just go in and take it off. Okay, right, I'm not cleaning this properly, which is why I've got all smudges. But because I have coated it in resin, it will clean up nice and clearly. Right, I'm going to pretend this is a Q-tip with a bit of cotton wool on it. And I'm out of water. Let me find some water. Right. That's better. Okay, if that had been on a painted black background, keep a note of what paint you use so that you can touch it up with a little bit of paint and cover up any mistakes that have left a bit of a smudge. If you're doing onto resin, then basically wipe it with a damp cloth or a damp Q-tip. Okay. I've not joined up these lines with my pencil, which you can do quite easily. And by the way, I did the lines using a wet tip for this so that I can do it. But so I've not done it because I don't want to. To me, it's a guideline to keep within rather than to actually plonk things on. If I really wanted to plonk things on, different dots and things in different areas, then I certainly could do so. Right, I'm going to take you a little bit further in this one because you can get tired of my voice, I'm sure, very easily. I'm going to put a little tiny dot in between. Right. I wouldn't suggest doing swooshes yet if you've just started. But they are rather fun, but they can be tricky too. I'm getting bigger and bigger. Seriously, Erica, pay attention to what you're doing as well as to what you're saying. Right, as you can see, the dot on the palette, which could have gone in one of the holes, to be honest, and would have done if I needed a large amount, is not dry. By putting a little bit of that pouring medium from Studio Acrylics by Pebeo, this one I'm talking about, by putting a drop of it on, it does make it stay wet for a bit longer. However, what I do usually is, if I've got to disappear for a phone call, to have lunch or whatever, if I've put the paint inside there, then I will take my stand and put it on. I'll put it on there to show. Well, I'll show you about these two, otherwise I'm just going to smudge my white paint. Okay? And then I have to wipe that off, because otherwise I end up putting it down and I get more paint everywhere. Right, I am not perfect by any means, but that's what makes your artwork unique, isn't it? If you were perfect, you'd be like working like a machine. And if you want machine art, that's fine. But if you want handcrafted, you need to expect there to be a little flexibility and tiny imperfections, or big imperfections that have been embraced perhaps. Right, I'm sure you can see that my dot was not completely centered, because I'm now touching the white on this side but not touching the white on that side. To be honest, I'm not going to have a hissy fit about it. These lines for me are a guide, and that was using, where's it gone, a 3mm. That's the smallest one of my crochet hooks. I wish I could crochet, but I can't. Right, in case you wanted to see what a swoosh looks like, this paint isn't ideal, but I can do it. I'm going to come out about, if I was doing that, I'm going to come out that far. Right, and I'm going to load up that dot, and then I'm going to use this to drag it through. Okay, you can tidy it up a little if you wish, just a tiny bit on the side. There we go. Right, that's one swoosh. This one is going to fit between the dot and the first swoosh, because I want to follow that line round and go round the dot. You see? I don't have a magnifying glass on this. I wouldn't want to have a magnifying glass on any of my work. I have my glasses on, and hopefully the work will come out as I want it to.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, Alexa, I didn't even say your name. Excuse her, please. I must have said something which sounded like her name. Right. That's that one. As I said, I'm going to go out to that point. This is your artwork, or rather this is my artwork, so I will do it as I want to do it. Your artwork will be yours, so you are entitled to do exactly what you want. Now, I have been guilty in the past of taking photographs of other artists' work. However, I do not copy them. I use them for inspiration, to help me with the colourways, what colours go with what, to practice new techniques, and to trial and error to see what I want to happen. If you want to do the same with any of my work as I go along, that's absolutely fine. If I do a piece of work which is completely finished, and you do a piece of work which is pretty much the same, please do refer back to where you got the ideas from. I'd be very grateful. I am new at doing the films, but not new at doing the artwork. Okay? Right, I think that's enough for you today to go away and try. You can expand out as you wish. I will be doing another one to follow on from this, to expand this particular piece of artwork. Have a good day. Bye for now.